Well, the United Nations Refugee Agency is making an appeal for $1 billion to help people who are fleeing the violence in Sudan. The organization expects more than 1.8 million people to seek refuge in neighboring countries by the end of the year. Violence broke out earlier this year when tensions exploded between the military and a paramilitary group for control of the country. Joining us to discuss are the co-founders of the Multi-Faith Neighbors Network, Pastor Bob Roberts and Imam Mohamed Magid. Welcome to you both. Imam, let me start with you. The violence in Sudan has been raging on for months. What do you think is key to restoring peace in Sudan?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us. I'm originally from Sudan. I just want to say that. And it's heartbreaking what happened to this beautiful country and beautiful people. And it needs people to sit down and to talk about how can we exchange power in the most peaceful way. Many women being violated, children have been dragged into child soldiers. Amazing effort being made by many people, but it still is not bear fruit yet. Churches being attacked, minorities being violated. It just breaks my heart to see my country of birth on fire.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to be witnessing this, but Pastor Roberts, can you talk a bit about why building mutual trust and respect among faith leaders in particular is crucial to establishing peace?
Because right now, they're all that's there. The government's not functioning. You have two generals that are fighting one another. You've had several coups over the last few years. And so faith leaders actually hold the key to this thing. And so Magid and I started this organization called Multi-Faith Neighbors Network. And what we do, we get pastors and imams together in very sensitive parts of the world. We started here in the U.S. and it's spread around the world. And so that's exactly what we're doing in Sudan. So we've been there twice, once last year, earlier in the year, right before the fighting broke out. They have an opportunity to calm things down and to be a vehicle for aid, support, and believe it or not, even peacemaking.
Well, Imam Magid, you mentioned you are from Sudan. I mean, realistically, when you see what's taking place there now, what specific steps need to be taken to start establishing trust within communities?
I think that the head of tribes and religious leaders, traditional leaders, and as my friend Pastor Bob mentioned, we have Christian leaders, Muslim leaders, and the women movement in Sudan. We need to bring those people together and to say, how can we restore peace and to stand together against violence? How can we replace the rhetoric of hate and anti-tribes and so forth to a peaceful coexistence speeches that bring harmony back to the Sudanese community?
And Pastor Roberts, once trust is established, how is it then maintained? And are there lessons for us here in the United States as we live at a time when, it is very divided in this country?
Everything is about relationships. We think it's about peace treaties. We think it's about aid and so forth. And those things matter. But without relationships, it all breaks down. And so what Magid and I, in becoming close friends and working together around the world, we try to model that. So I would say the first thing is relationships. I would say the second thing is engagement. What do they need? How can we serve? How can we help? Think about it. Christian and Muslim people alike want to serve. They want to do good for their fellow human being. What better way than to do it together? I mean, let your imagination wild. Let it just go wild. What could the world look like if conservative Christians like myself and Muslims like Magid were to work together in a place like Sudan and say, we're going to do everything that we can to facilitate you to bring about resolve to this in serving and bringing about peace. And at a minimum, we give them hope, and that matters.
Imam Magid, for Americans who are watching this now, there are any myriad of other stories that occupy attention these days. How do you keep the story of what is taking place in Sudan at the forefront?
Yes, unfortunately, the story of Sudan has not been in front pages in America. Many women been violated. Sexual violence have just unbelievably spread in many places, and many people also been killed. The ethnic cleansing took place in Darfur, in Jenina, and I know that there's a condemnation around the world about it, but we need people to know that there's many people now, that homes, and they've been displaced in the country, and also become refugees in Chad and neighboring countries. One, we need aid. The medical situation is very dangerous because many people are dying because there's no basic medicine, and have people in dialysis being dying because they could not have dialysis being provided for them. We have people we have shortage of food, about to have, if this agricultural season does not succeed, millions of people might die.
Such dire conditions that you are describing, but certainly for people listening to hear the two of you coming together and explain what you think and believe could be possible by coming together is reason to hope. Pastor Bob Roberts and Imam Mohamed Magid, thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.